All right, this is our final project for BCM. We're creating a class on how to run for office. It's going to be in the political science department. And we're going to be doing this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time in this room for fall 2019. And of course, this course is designed by Emily Johncox, myself, Ransom Burgess, and Rabita Rajkarnikar. This is where the default faculty information would go, including background, email, and office hours. But we don't have faculty yet, so that is to be filled in. And our course motivation. So basically, we're asking the question, are government officials representative of the electorate? And we're hoping to educate students on how to run for and win a political campaign, because we think that ultimately government officials are not representative of the electorate. So we're hoping to sort of change the demographics of the people who govern this country. And also to break down the activation barrier that keeps young people from running for office, whether that's the connections or fundraising or just general understanding of how to run a campaign. We're hoping to sort of remove that barrier and let people run for office. The course objectives for this class are as follows. Students should be able to articulate why they're running for office, why they're qualified. They should be able to understand and implement an effective campaign. They should be able to speak persuasively on platform and on policy stances. They should build relationships with media and effectively market themselves. They should be able to budget for a campaign as well as fundraise. And finally, they should be able to run for public or engage the public and target, communicate, and build relationships with their supporters. And they should be able to run for office and ultimately win, because of course that is the goal of every political campaign, is to win. This course is going to be structured with 5 modules. Each module is going to be themed with components of a campaign, and each module is going to have an assignment, various in-class activities, and a guest speaker. There will also be a final campaign plan that is the final project. This should be fairly straightforward if you've done all 5 modules. It's going to sort of be a synthesis of those 5 modules and a little bit of extra work to sort of tie them all together. And there won't be a textbook required, but there will probably be readings throughout, and those will be posted as they come up on Blackboard for reading. The first module. All right, this is going to be mostly on sort of deciding to run, and as this is a political science class with no political science prerequisites, we're going to be including sort of an overview of government. So this will help you select an office to run for, sort of what makes a good candidate and the qualifications of a good candidate, as well as researching the position in terms of sort of what they actually do once you do get elected, because that is an important thing to understand, is sort of understanding what's realistic for you to campaign on, and what's realistic for you to promise your supporters. Assignments will be to find a position that you want to run for and write about why you chose that office, why you might want to run in general, and also why you're qualified for the office that you chose. The next module is going to be a campaign structure and management. This will be discussing the elements of a campaign, managing the people involved in a campaign, and developing a platform. This sort of covers all campaigns, be they local or state or even federal. Obviously, the bigger your campaign, the bigger your campaign structure is going to be. For local campaigns, you might be able to manage it almost by yourself and maybe get a few people you know to volunteer, but with federal campaigns, you're going to be managing hundreds or thousands of volunteers who are going to be out canvassing, and then you're also going to be managing other resources like advertising, that sort of thing. The assignment for this module is creating an election timeline that'll fit your office. You'll be developing a brief on key issues that you're going to campaign on, and probably describing your campaign structure a little bit for the office that you chose. Module 3 will be communications and media. Your topics are going to be consistent messaging and branding, how to do political speeches, your paid media and earned media. Earned media is basically any time you're on TV and you didn't pay to be on TV. As far as paying to be on TV, that's sort of political advertising, so how to do those effectively. And then utilizing social media, which is increasingly a big part of campaigns, is how to manage your online presence, both as a candidate and as a campaign. Here, your assignment will be developing a campaign logo. You're going to present a stump speech for your campaign, and you're going to create a social media page for your campaign, so all sort of covering all the branches of that. Module 4 is on campaign finance. The topics here are creating a campaign budget, going over how to fundraise, and then finally discussing campaign finance law. This is a big sticking point. If you violate campaign finance law, you're not likely to get elected. But also, if you're not good at fundraising, you're not likely to get elected, especially to higher offices. So the assignment for this module, it's pretty simple. You just need to create a campaign budget, but depending on which office you've chosen, that could be more or less complicated as well. Module 5, the campaign in action. This is sort of the flashy stuff. You're going to be critiquing policy debate. You're going to be doing a mock policy debate in class, and you're going to be discussing the last 72 hours of a campaign, which is really the most important time of a campaign because it's leading up to when people are actually going to go vote for you, maybe including when they vote for you, and then finally either how to win or hopefully not, but how to lose. Also important to know. So that'll cover things like concession speeches or victory speeches. And then finally, historical campaigns. I know for sure we're going to be discussing the first Obama campaign. We're going to be discussing Trump's campaign in 2016. And we'll probably also cover a local campaign and a state campaign. Although I might let you guys decide which ones we want to discuss for that. The assignment here is going to be creating a strategic plan for the last 72 hours of your campaign. And that is the last of the modules. So now we move into the final. The final project is a comprehensive campaign plan. So this is basically the aspects you've submitted from every other module. We're going to be adding to that with some other topics that we discuss in class. But doing a good job on those module assignments should make this final project pretty simple. You'll do a presentation during Dead Week, and all of your campaign write-ups will be due at the end of Dead Week. Your attendance in this class is not mandatory. Each week you'll earn up to 10 points for in-class activities, which you do need to be in class for. That'll include things like discussion, reading, probably policy, that sort of thing, as well as maybe some in-class quizzes or exercises. You're allowed 4 excused absences. You can be excused for anything, but you do have to email the professor ahead of class. If you forget to email, or if you're going beyond those 4 excused absences, you're going to lose 1% of your grade for every time you're absent. We'll have some guest speakers. Each module will have at least one guest speaker. and for each guest speaker, you'll take notes and then submit them at the end of class in person, just on paper, and that's going to be worth 10 points per speaker, so 50 points, one for each module, basically. Here's how your grade is broken down. Each module, the assignment in that module will be worth 100 points, for a total of 500. Your final project report is going to be worth 200 points. Your final project presentation is 100 points. Each week you have about 10 points of in-class activities for a total of 150, and each module you have 10 points of guest speakers for a total of 50. All in all, 1,000 points. Should be pretty easy for you guys to calculate your grades this way, and I will try to keep things updated. The grading scale, it's a standard grading scale. I don't think I need to go into this any further, but above a 90 is an A, no A pluses or A minuses, anything like that. And finally, extra credit. We're going to be dealing with up to 30 points of extra credit, so that's 3% of your grade. This is any sort of civic engagement. This is things like voting, volunteering, you can work a campaign. This is pretty open-ended. If you have a question about whether something would count for this extra credit, the answer is probably yes. Just run it by me, and I'll tell you whether it'll count or not. Basically, anything you do, you have to write a one-page write-up on it, and then each event is going to be worth 10 points, and you can do up to 3, although obviously doing more is great. All right, any questions now? Okay then, that is the end of that, and we can start teaching.